Hello all. So we'll be continuing with the chapter life processes, and this is our 7th lesson together, and we are starting a new subtopic, that is respiration. Okay, so under respiration, this is the first section that we'll be doing. So what are we waiting for? Let's start. So in the last class, we learned about digestion in quite detail. So under digestion, we learned that it is basically the breakdown of larger food groups into smaller ones. Okay, so what are the major food groups? Carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So here we will be looking mainly about carbohydrates. So carbohydrates get digested into smaller glucose units, right? So what happens to proteins and fats? Let's just recap. Proteins get digested into peptides and fats get digested into lipids during digestion. So here we'll be mainly considering carbohydrates because we are going to be learning about respiration. And what happens during respiration? Glucose is broken down to release energy. So the purpose of respiration is that we need to get energy, right? So what is respiration? Going by this concept, what is respiration? It is nothing but the breakdown of glucose to release energy, right? Simple. So this happens in different organisms in different ways. In some organisms, it happens in the presence of oxygen. So with the help of oxygen, some organisms respire, and such a type of respiration is known as aerobic respiration. So with the help of oxygen, glucose is broken down to release energy in certain organisms, and this kind of respiration is known as aerobic respiration. Another way that certain other organisms carry out respiration, or in certain cases, respiration happens in the opposite way, that is, without the help from oxygen or without the presence of oxygen. Such a type of respiration is known as anaerobic respiration. So aerobic and anaerobic, right? Now let us see the various pathways that through which respiration occurs, or through which the breakdown of glucose occurs in different sites in different organisms, right? So the first step in the breakdown of glucose is it occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. That means, let's just recap what is the cytoplasm? The region between the cell wall or cell membrane and the nucleus inside a cell is known as cytoplasm, right? So in the cytoplasm, glucose gets converted or broken down into pyruvate. So glucose is a 6-carbon molecule and pyruvate is a 3-carbon molecule, right? So clearly glucose is being broken down into a smaller unit, and energy, some energy is released. But organisms need more energy. So what happens? This pyruvate is again broken down. So we can see that in all the cases, the common step is that glucose is converted into pyruvate in cytoplasm. So this is the common step in all types of respiration. How does respiration differ in different organisms? In the next step, that is in the breakdown of pyruvate to release energy. So in yeast, that is in certain organisms, it happens in the absence of oxygen, without the help of oxygen. So what kind of respiration is this? Anaerobic respiration. So in yeast, anaerobic respiration happens, and what is formed? Ethanol, which is a 2-carbon molecule. So 3 to 2. And carbon dioxide is also released along with some more energy. Okay, so this is the first type of pathway. Okay, the next type of pathway is, it also happens in without the presence of oxygen, lack of oxygen, in a condition where oxygen is not enough. So again, what type of respiration is this that occurs in the lack of oxygen? Anaerobic respiration. And where does this occur? In our muscle cells, right? When oxygen supply is low in our muscle cells, pyruvate is broken down via anaerobic respiration to give rise to lactic acid and some more energy, right? And the third and most common type of pathway of breakdown of glucose happens in the presence of oxygen, in the presence and with the help of oxygen. So what type of respiration is this? Aerobic respiration. Where does this happen? In the mitochondria. That means powerhouse of cells. Okay. So in the mitochondria of the cell, aerobic respiration happens, and in this, pyruvate is converted into carbon dioxide, water, and more energy is released. It is worthy to note that the most amount of energy is released in aerobic type of respiration. Right? So these were the common or various pathways by which glucose is broken down or by which respiration occurs. Now a note about muscle cramps. Okay. So why do muscle cramps occur? I'm sure all of us have experienced it in some or the other phase of our life, right? So before we go into the why, let us become clear about what is muscle cramp, right? So cramp is defined as a painful involuntary contraction, right? It happens suddenly, it is painful, and we have no control over it. Involuntary means we have no control over it, of a muscle or a group of muscles. Typically caused, what is the cause? By fatigue, that means extreme tiredness, or strain. That means when we put our muscles under strain and stress by, strenuous physical activity or exercise or sports, okay? Or when we are experiencing fatigue already, there is a painful involuntary contraction, or we experience muscle cramps, okay? Why does this happen scientifically? We'll find a reason. What happens in this is, glucose is first of all converted into pyruvate and energy. That is the common step. And this pyruvate and energy, we learned that in muscle cells, under the lack of oxygen, is converted into lactic acid and energy. So over a period of time, the buildup of lactic acid, if for a while, if the muscle cells only respire anaerobically, the lactic acid content builds up, and this causes muscle cramps, right? So how can we avoid muscle cramps? What can we do for our body so that it doesn't experience muscle cramps? Okay. So first of all, get fresh air every day. There is a rise in what we call as indoor pollution, which is causing a lot of physical and mental troubles for human beings and pets all over the world. So to avoid that, get fresh air every day. Open your windows, make sure you get fresh air and fresh natural light. Get some indoor plants that help in increasing the oxygen amount inside your homes or schools, okay? And second one, practice deep breathing. Give at least 1 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes of your time for breathing deeply, deep tummy breathing, okay? So this will help your body build your breathing stamina or capacity over a period of time, right? So thirdly, hydrate. Drink more water throughout the day, right? So that itself solves a lot of problems. Then, before any activity, warm up. Don't just jump in directly into strenuous sports, games, dance, or running, jogging, but before doing any particular physical activity. Just warm your body up by stretching or, gentle movements, slow movements first. Then eat more iron-rich food. As you study more on the subject, as you advance more, you will learn that there is a direct connection with iron in this scenario. So eat more iron-rich food like beans, dried fruits, and liver and red meat. Right? So these all these steps can help you avoid muscle cramps to an extent, right? Now, what do organisms do with the energy that they get from respiration? They synthesize. That means they make ATP, right? We have already learned that ATP is nothing but it's nicknamed as the energy currency of the cell, right? So about ATP we learn in much more detail in the next class. So that's it for today. Thank you for being with me and watching this video till end. Please like, share and comment me your feedbacks, and please do subscribe to this channel. Spread the word, right? It's free. Thank you very much.